GasCast back in the house. I mean, as always, I have to ask you, Ricky, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Couldn't be better. Had 2 drafts today. Feeling great about the results in both. Don't know how you're doing, CJ.
Dude, I'm feeling good. I was telling you pre-show, I think that my team is, I mean, I couldn't be any happier with it. It's exactly where I want it to be. And for all the GasCast people out there, we had our annual $50 half-point PPR league draft tonight. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to put the teams in the description so you can follow along with us, because if we just talk about it, it's going to be kind of hard to follow. So we're just going to go over our teams, maybe some of the other teams, and then maybe talk some other, NBA basketball or something. So,
yeah, just to preface this conversation, we have not talked in a long time. A lot of stuff has happened since we last recorded the GasCast.
Yeah, it's been what, six months since it GasCast?
5 yeah, maybe months? Longer. I'm really not sure.
It's something crazy like that, but yeah, we're back. We're gonna be, the classic. We're gonna be churning out weekly content. No, I mean, yeah, it could be another 2 months. I mean, I won't lie to the people out there, but we hope to, with sports coming back, maybe do a more consistent show. But who knows? Who knows? You can never predict it. The GasCast is probably the most inconsistent podcast out there. So.
Yeah, but we know that when we put something out, it's high quality shit.
That is true. The top of the line.
You could even talk about it as if like we're artists. We need our time to prepare mentally. To get the next episode out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a recorded an album almost.
Yeah, I mean, what's that? What's that church that's super famous in like Italy?
The Vatican.
It's like one of the Saint Michelangelo or something. I don't know.
Are you talking about the one where the guy's on the roof?
Yeah. Whatever that church is, that wasn't built in a night, people. So yeah, that was my point. That wasn't built in a night, people. So we need 6 months. We need 6 months for this podcast. So, but what better time to come back than fantasy football season? I mean, there's no better time of the year. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We just jump in right here. We're talking competition this year in the league. I think real quick, we could do a quick recap of what happened last year.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe just looking at the standings here.
I don't know how to check that out, but I do know Ricky finished second. I finished third, and one of the members of our league, William, finished first. So that's back-to-back wins for William.
Yeah, and then after that, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Because we're the top 3, and the top 3 gets paid, and that's how it goes, man.
Exactly. And I don't know. I don't even know what the feeling is of not being paid. I've been top 3 all 7 years I've played fantasy. Don't want to brag, but there it is.
So, yeah, I mean, don't want to brag, but here we are.
Yeah, so we got big competition this year. I think I couldn't be happier with my team going into the season. So I'm hyped, dude. So do you want to check out your team first or my team first?
You seem real excited to talk about it, so I'm gonna let you take the floor, CJ.
Okay. Yeah. So I drafted the end of the first round, so I had the 3rd pick, but I chose to be number 12. I wanted to get the turn pick because I saw that running backs were there was a deep drop off after like pick 15. So if I was on the turn, I was guaranteed 2 solid running backs. So with those, I went Ekeler and Jones, and I mean, come on, dude. It doesn't get any better than that. PPR league, Ekeler, I mean, he's going to get the rock hella. Jones, I mean, coming off the 2nd best fantasy season. I'm not worried about Jamal Williams. I'm not worried about A.J. Dillon cutting into Aaron Jones. And then you look at it. I mean, we got Cooper Kupp, Ridley, Ertz, Brandon Cooks, Russell Wilson. I mean, I'm stacked here, dude. I'm stacked. I don't have any weakness. And for my bench, so the bench can be looked at kind of shitty, to be honest. Like the bench, but I have an explanation. Okay. I do this method every year I draft. I take players that are like rookies and unproven guys, and even if one of them is like breakout, I'm immediately like I'm putting up most fantasy points in the league. So if you have like a Zach Moss that all of a sudden becomes like a top 10 running back, slide him in there. Preston Williams, another guy that could break out. Cole could break out. Sonny Michel could get back on track. Rieger's number one on the depth chart. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I want the bench to be breakout guys.
I will say about the bottom of the roster that Rieger is injured right now. He may miss some time.
That's fine.
And Michel just sucks. So I had him last year.
Michel sucks. Michel sucks, but the Patriots, I mean, who else is really going to compete with them? And also, I figured, the Patriots seem to think he's doing pretty well in training camp. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's just had an off year and he'll get back on track. I mean, I figured it was a good late flyer.
I think Damian Harris is a better player, but he's injured right now. So, Sonny Michel kind of has the floor to take on Miami in Week 1, and that's a good matchup, of course. So, yeah, I mean, Josh McDaniels was just talking about. He said Sonny Michel's looking the best of his career right now. So I figured that ain't saying much, man.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, hey, I think it was at least worth a late round flyer. I mean, I got him, last 2 or 3 rounds. I said, that's great value for that position. I felt like, and Alshon Jeffrey, the last pick, dude. We're talking about a guy that's finished top 13 in receivers the last 3 years with the Eagles, and he was on pace last year, but he got injured the second half. But I mean, if he comes back, he's probably immediately their wide receiver 1. So I figured that was another good late round flyer to take.
Yeah, Alshon, I think he's done, to be honest. But you're right that it's last round pick, and high upside. But Zach Moss, I love that pick.
Yeah, I'm hyped about that one, dude. His compared to Singletary, it's such a change of pace back. Like, Moss is way bigger. He's going to be used on the goal line and early down when Singletary's late down. And if Moss explodes, he could just take Singletary out completely. So
I agree, dude. Because Singletary's good. I had him last year, but I don't think he's unbeatable in that backfield. I think Zach Moss is a player who could come in.
But in Preston Williams, I'll let you take the floor on him because you're definitely going to know more about him than I am.
I mean, I love the Preston Williams pick, number 2 wide receiver for the Dolphins. He's if I had to compare him to anybody, he's like AJ Green, which, it sounds crazy. It's you're going to compare a guy who's barely played to AJ Green, but skill set wise, he's 6'5", fast as fuck, great routes. He tore his ACL last year, but this year I think he's poised to break out for sure.
Yeah,
and he went in he went pretty late too.
Yeah, I got him at a steal. I got him 35 picks later than what he was projected. So, I can't ask for more than that. And, a guy that every week that he was healthy and played put up more than 12 points a game. So, I'm happy with that pick. But what do you think about the team as a whole? How do you think I'm stacking up?
I think that Austin Ekeler and Aaron Jones are both of the top tier running backs. They're 2 of the ones that are the riskiest, in my opinion. We haven't seen Ekeler do it at a high level for a whole season. He was still good all of last year and an RB top 3 running back for the first half of the year. I had him last year too. But that's why I like this team. It's a lot of players that I had in the past.
Yeah.
But I think Ekeler, I think he'll be good, but there's a chance he has to split the time in the backfield. And Aaron Jones, if he can stay healthy, he's a beast, but I think the Packers could take a step back this year. Possibly. But I'm high on Austin Ekeler. I'm not as high on Aaron Jones. But going to the receivers, Cooper Kupp and Calvin Ridley, I think that's a duo you'll be able to start every week, Yeah. Matchup proof,
You weren't talking about underrated. Cooper Kupp. He finished 4th in fantasy last year. Now you take Brandon Cooks. Now he's on the Texans, and Jared Goff couldn't have had really a worse season last year. So if he even improves slightly, I can't imagine Cooper. Cooper Kupp's probably going to put up similar numbers. I would think. I'm hoping anyway. But for Ridley, they're saying out of the all the Falcons players and the coaches are saying that he's prone for a breakout this year. They're saying he looks like a beast, and he finished the season red hot. He was averaging 15 points a game for the last like 6 or 7 weeks. So I couldn't be any happier with that. And then my number one pick for value, I thought, was Zach Ertz. I got him like 40 picks later than where he was supposed to go for my starting tight end spot.
I had Ertz last year too. It was a bumpy ride. He was great in the playoffs, so people want him this year for sure. Even though he slipped in the draft, I was still pretty high on him. But yeah, I mean, throughout the year, he was pretty inconsistent. But I'd like to have Ertz on my team. You know, I don't hate that pick for sure.
I was debating on whether going Ertz or reaching a little bit for Waller, but I figured if Ertz can stay healthy, with the lack of like receivers that the Eagles have, and plus Carson Wentz is bound to have a rebound season, so I thought
he was great last season. Carson Wentz was great last season.
Was he really? What? So what was it? The team? To be honest, I didn't follow the Eagles, so I don't really know.
Wentz was I had Ertz on my team and Wentz for a period on my team too. So I watched all the Eagles games. Like, you know, you're talking about watching the Dolphins who play like shit most weeks versus like my fantasy stack. Usually I was just going to watch the Eagles, you know, but I'd bounce between the games. I'd be keeping an eye on the Eagles. And Wentz played great, and the stats back it up too. He just wasn't great for fantasy. And the offense wasn't great, even though he had great efficiency numbers.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, whatever.
but Ertz, like I said, dude, got me through the playoffs last year. He was a little inconsistent at the beginning of the year, but you can rely on him as like a top tight end.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and you know, I saw a huge drop off with tight ends coming, so to get him, I mean, especially in the round I got him, I mean, I couldn't be any happier with that. And the last one I want to talk about was Brandon Cooks. What do you think about that?
Well, one thing I'll say, I wanted the Bears defense too. You took them right in front of me. But Cooks, I don't know. I don't think he's healthy. But if he is playing, every time he gets 1,000 yards every time he's healthy, and he's playing a 16-game season or 15 games. So you know you have that upside with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, dude. I was thinking, you know, Cooks. I mean, he can't really play much worse than last year. I know he had some injury issues and stuff, but I mean, now he's the number one receiver on the Texans. So I can't imagine David Johnson getting enough touches where it's going to affect the pass game too much. So, I mean, I thought it was for the round I got him. I mean, what was it? You know, I got him like round 9 or 10. I mean, for a flex spot, I thought the upside was enough where I could easily grab him there and be happy with the pick. So, all right. Well, I guess that's about it for my team. Let me know in the comments section. Let me know in the comments section what you think about the squad. But I guess we can move on to Ricky's team now.
What do you think about Siege Crew?
Yeah, I'm rating mine, just to be honest. I think that I'm rating mine anywhere from A- to A, because I really couldn't be any happier with the team. This is if it busts, that's fine, but this was the exact roughly 95% of the team I really was gunning for. So I can't be upset.
Siege, you know, a member of our league sent in a Fantasy Pros ranking of all our teams, and Siege Crew came in 10th place, dude.
No, I know it. I was like that. I'm like that every year, dude.
Yeah,
like last year I was in 10th. Like who gives the preseason rankings are so bullshit. It's so unbelievably bullshit. So, we'll see what happens.
Just wanted to get your comments on that.
Yeah, I saw it too. So,
especially since my team was in 3rd place.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like I said, look at last year. I finished. They projected me 10th last year and ended up, you know, placing 3rd. And I had, if I don't remember who it was, but it was one player. If he didn't have a monster game, I would have went to the finals. So I couldn't have been any happier with my team last year and my team this year. So anyway, all right, Rick. All right, Ricky. Let's check out your team here.
Dude, Siege, I kind of just want you to break it down, and I'll give you my perspective. You know, on what stands out to you.
There's one team after this that I need to look at that I hated.
Let's just talk about it. We'll just talk about it.
Should we talk about yours first?
I think we should talk about mine first. Yeah.
All right. First person that stands out, Young Ho Koo.
Of course.
I have no idea who that is. I'm obviously kicker for Atlanta, but I've never even heard that name. But number one, I mean, come on, Christian McCaffrey.
I
mean,
won the sweepstakes, dude.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you didn't pick
I got the first
one,
overall pick.
yeah, I mean, if you didn't pick number one, that's where I was going. Chris Carson, couldn't ask for a better guy as your RB2. I mean, he's guaranteed 1,000 yards. Galladay, you know how much I love Galladay.
Yeah, we're huge fans of Galladay on
I'm a
this podcast.
huge Galladay fan for all the GasCast people out there. I think he's a breakout waiting to happen. A.J. Brown, risky, in my opinion. A little risky. I don't know why.
I agree, dude. I haven't been taking him in my mock drafts, really. But he was standing out right there. And I said, you know what? Normally he wasn't on the board at that point, but he slipped a little bit. And I was like, oh. I was between him and I don't know. I ended up taking another receiver, but Keenan Allen was on the board too. I ended up going with him and Devontae Parker. But I'll be honest, CJ, that's my only regret pick of the draft. Going Devontae Parker over Mark Ingram.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess, but, Mark Ingram, I mean, what about Justice Hill, dude? I mean, he's supposed to be, I mean, I don't know if he will, but, I mean, you got Justice Hill, you got Dobbins now.
But the thing is,
it could be a split back thing. I mean, Mark Ingram isn't exactly like a young back nowadays.
It will be a split back thing, but Mark Ingram will be the lead back for the first probably 6 weeks or so in the top rushing offense or one of in the whole league. Like, that's something I feel like that's something my team is missing because my third running back is a question mark, dude. And that's kind of just the way the draft happened. But it's kind of a question mark. And if Chris Carson gets hurt, might be in a bit of a pinch. But that's why you hit the waiver wire, make a trade, something like that.
You have to take risks. Like, for me, I never draft RB3s in terms of, like, I'll never go 3 running back straight. I mean, for me, I try to fill out my lineup running back, receiver. If one of your running back goes down, you're just in deep shit. I mean, It's a risk you kind of just have to take. I mean, I'm willing to take the risk in order to get one of the top, 15, 20 receivers. So
I feel the same way.
PPR.
Because that becomes good. It becomes a good trade piece, if anything. Like if you have a ton of good receivers, you can pair a really good receiver and a bad running back and get a good running back.
The one pick that I think we can both agree is not a great one. Blake Jarwin.
Dude, I think he's got breakout potential.
Really? Okay.
I'm streaming tight ends this year. I punted the position till like the last round. So, Jonnu Smith is out there. Blake Jarwin's out there. As you know, I really wanted Travis Kelce to somehow get to my second round pick. To the point where I was considering going to pick 3 or 4 just to like have a better chance at getting Kelce and maybe not get McCaffrey. But I decided, McCaffrey's a cheat code. No point in trying to think too hard about it,
Exactly. And I love your Kyler Murray pick. When I drafted my QB, Wilson, I was in between Murray and Wilson, but I figured I might as well go with the guaranteed option at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Wilson's the better quarterback, so might as well go with Wilson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The only benefit for Kyler is his offense. Like the air raid, he'll probably run for over 500 yards. And heck, I'm expecting him to throw about 30 touchdowns this year.
I thought about it, dude. I mean, I love the pick. I mean, I really did. I was close to drafting Kyler over Russell Wilson, but I love that pick. Yeah, I agree. Like, I could easily see Kyler rushing for 500 yards this season for sure.
But in my opinion, I think I have 2 receivers who could both be wide receiver 1s. Gallup also could be. Parker will probably be a 2. Even Deshaun Jackson, if he's healthy, he has upside. And then my running back position's pretty set.
Well, see, for me, Michael Gallup, like, I always worry about his boom or bust potential just because, like, if CeeDee Lamb wasn't there, I wouldn't worry. But they seem intent to get CeeDee Lamb as involved as much as possible. Even though I think personally, I don't know if the Cowboys think this, I think Michael Gallup's the best receiver on the Cowboys. From what I've seen.
Play like you're talking about in an offense. Cooper's the X, and then you have Gallup at the Y, and then Lamb in the slot. You know what I mean? And every team runs 3 or 4 wide receiver sets most of the time. So
No, I get it.
if
But
you had the top passing offense in the NFL, which I think the Cowboys could this year because their defense is so terrible, I think they could be like the Falcons of last year, supporting Ridley and Julio.
yeah.
I think that could be Cooper and Gallup this year.
If he was on my board, at the right time, I definitely would have drafted Gallup because I think he's better than Cooper, personally.
And that's why I was saying I'd rather have Mark Ingram over Devontae Parker and just have Michael Gallup, because that could have been an outcome for my team.
Yeah,
but that's a buyer's remorse. I think it'll be fine either way.
Obviously, I'm gonna have to take my team over your team because I'm biased, but I still really like your team. I would have done a lot of the same moves as you did.
Yeah, I'd say the same about your team.
Obviously,
we got similar strategy.
So let's see. Like in another universe, I would probably draft this same team minus Blake Jarwin and AJ Brown. Let's see. All right, so we got to divert here to a single team that I have in mind. It happens to be your Week 1 matchup, which I think should be a very easy win. If you ask me.
Muncher?
Yes, dude. Quinn, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, dude. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. But
he has Terry McLaurin.
Your running backs. I mean, you're going to be in deep shit running back wise, dude. There's going to be weeks where like Le'Veon Bell and Mostert together put up like 11 points combined. So
you seem very, very confident about that. Do you think there's any upside there?
I don't.
Bell and Mostert. What about J.K. Dobbins?
I still don't think there's much upside, to be honest. He might, in a perfect world, maybe he splits carries with Mark Ingram, but I don't think that you're going to see J.K. Dobbins have the job all to himself at any point during the season.
He has 2 top 6 receivers. So this is the makings of like just a mid-tier team, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Barring maybe he trades Julio or someone like that, gets a better running back.
If I'm him, I'm packaging Le'Veon, Julio, and Debo, and I'm going to get like a top 10 running back.
Worth a shot, Quinn.
That would be what I would do, and then you could just slide. Then you could have 2 running backs, and you could still have M. Thomas and Terry McLaurin as your 2 receivers. Plus, you could. That's the thing about flexes. Like, you can find by the end of the season, there's going to be like 5 flexes that are putting up like 15 points a game that nobody's ever heard of. So,
except me, I'll have heard of them.
Well, most likely, yeah. Most 99% of people haven't heard of, but this team I'm not too impressed by.
So,
and Jared Cook.
I think we should break down the champion from last year, Finelli. I think we should break down that team, and Jack's team, since he came in last place last year. Maybe all just right. Real quick, just go through.
Where can I look at that at?
You got to go to league, and then rosters.
And then I guess, all right. Okay, I see it under rosters, but I'm trying to figure out how I can find last year's.
Oh, no, I'm saying we're looking at their rosters for this year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, feel me?
I'll be honest, I know which one. All right, the grand finale. All right, there you go. I got to be honest.
You said you hate Joe Mixon.
Dude, I got to be honest. I'm hot take alert, maybe. And I know he's going to watch this. I think William might have the worst team in the league.
Hot take alert.
Because of receivers. His receivers are. Look at his receivers and his tight end. Like, I don't know where his picks went.
I think the only from my perspective right now, before maybe he makes a couple trades, I think the big upside to this team is it relies on Chark and Marquise Brown. I think that's because Will Fuller, I think he'll be great sometimes, but it's hard to predict. You know what I mean? When he's healthy, he's usually good, but it's hard to predict in what game he's going to get hurt. You don't want to rely on him too much.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like DJ Chark. He's a guy I considered for my team. And I like Josh Jacobs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jacobs.
And I don't hate Joe Mixon. I don't like Melvin Gordon. I can say that.
I hate Melvin Gordon. To me, I think he's the riskiest running back. As far as the top 15, 20 running backs, I think he's probably the number one riskiest for me.
I think he'll get the goal line work, but there's a chance the Broncos running backs just aren't worth shit,
Yeah, so and I thought, to me, I actually don't really hate the team. I think that the Jonathan Taylor pick kind of screwed him a little bit because he could have taken like a Thielen at that spot or like someone like that, and I just thought that was a little.
I'd always flex a receiver that rather than have like a third high capital running back. You know what I mean? I'd rather for my RB3, I usually rely on a later pick to like explode. But
exactly.
Or I'd prefer to. It doesn't always go that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think one thing about this year is it seems like a lot of people did better at drafting, to be honest.
They did, for sure.
Yeah, there's not a huge disparity this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't think any one team is by far ahead of any other team, to be honest.
Given in the preseason, a lot of options always look really good at first. And then you get to the season and it's like, oh, why did I ever think that would work? Something like that.
Who's keeping up with the Joneses?
That's Jack.
So that's Jack's team?
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's pretty good. I think he's got a solid I think the Daniel Jones pick is a little iffy, but the rest of his team, assuming Keenan Allen can actually play to full strength with Herbert at quarterback and his injury history.
Tyrod at first.
Or Tyrod, sorry.
It's Tyrod first for a bit.
But besides that, I think I think Hilaire, Gurley, Hopkins, and Cooper. I think that's a solid base.
Do you view CeeDee Lamb as like wide receiver 2 upside? Like
I don't think it's possible. I think Cooper and Gallup are too good.
Yeah.
Like next year, maybe. But we'll see. I mean, you never know. I mean, Lamb could be the next. I don't know, Michael Irvin. I mean, who knows?
Dude, I love my team. I think I have the chance to have a top 3 quarterback, the number 1 running back, and then Chris Carson at like RB8 or so. And
yeah,
but then you're talking at receiver. Like you said, it's a little boomer bust. There's a world where AJ Brown and Devontae Parker suck, and Kenny Golladay is like wide receiver 8. Like he's just okay, or he's good. But there's a chance my wide receiver 2 spot could get messed up. So I'm relying on AJ Brown a little bit.
I think
risky.
Yeah, I think that you have the highest potential in the league as far I think that the boom potential of your team. I mean, I think there's some weeks that you're probably going to put up like 140 or 150.
Yeah, because Parker led the ACC in receiving last year. I'm pretty sure he maybe second to Tyreek Hill, but no, because Hill missed a lot of time. So I'm pretty sure Parker led the AFC. And so if he could do that again, and then AJ Brown does the same thing he did last year, then my team's looking pretty stacked.
Yeah, for sure.
But I agree that Blake Jarwin probably won't be on my roster for too long. He's there for week 1. We'll see what he does. See what his market share is looking like. I just think Dak loves throwing to the tight end. That's one of his tendencies. He loves throwing in the middle of the field. And they throw the ball a lot in Dallas. So I think there's a chance Jarwin and Gallup are both solid.
I think the most risky team by a wide margin is kicking Butker. He's got a lot of risky picks.
That's Liam's team.
Like Cam Akers, Landry. I mean, he's gonna be fine. Godwin's good. David Johnson is that was one that was way off my draft board. And assuming Dalvin Cook, he'll be good. But there's that chance, dude, that you never know that he could snap his leg in half again. So, I like what he did with the bench, though. Like that's kind of like what I like doing. I take the guys that have breakout potential, like Pittman and Harris and Ruggs. I love the Ruggs pick. I was targeting him, but obviously couldn't grab him.
I think his receivers position has the potential for Godwin to. I think Godwin's one of the best receivers in the league, but
I do too.
There's a chance he regresses. Jarvis, also I think he'll be okay. I don't know. I'm not too high on him. Dalvin Cook, if he's playing, he's top 3.
Yep.
So.
That's a huge boom or bust team right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Cam Akers could be a lead back too. Then he has 3 lead backs.
Yeah.
But potentially 2 wide receiver 2s, which isn't a bad thing. That could work out. And I think Marvin Jones is a good pick there too.
Just looking back at my team, I mean, I couldn't be any happier. I mean, I'm loaded.
Dude, I think you might have like the worst team in the league.
Dude, how is that possible, dude? I mean, what the hell? Like, I mean, am I seeing this? I mean, I feel like I'm stacked here. I don't think I have a weak position. You can make an argument against my bench, but like I said, I always do the breakout potential guys for my bench, and I can just add or remove guys as the season goes on.
Yeah, you're pretty active on the waiver wire. That's the thing is my team later in the year will look nothing like this.
Exactly. So I mean, Ekeler was my number 1 on my draft board for running backs. You can call me besides obviously Saquon and McCaffrey, but in my range with Jacobs and Mixon, I was going to take Ekeler over Jacobs if it was needed.
That'd be insane.
Super high on Ekeler. Like I think he's just gonna have like 90% of the run work with the Chargers. And I mean, you look what he did last year with Melvin Gordon when he was out. I mean, killing the game, like top 3 running back or whatever it was, like killing it. And then when he came back, he was still putting up 15 a game. So, I mean, I couldn't be any happier with that pick. And then, so I'm not going to go through the team again, but I'm really happy with the squad.
Yeah, I remember I traded Austin Ekeler, and I honestly wasn't too happy about the decision later on in the season. Given it worked out for me, I still came in second place. But
yeah, but I guess you could make an argument for Aaron Jones being risky, but dude, I just don't think Jamal Williams or A.J. Dillon are good enough because, dude, Aaron Jones is like one of the best running backs in the league. Like we're not talking about some random.
The problem is you can talk about to an Aaron Jones owner from last year. Like they just don't give him the ball enough. Like when he has the ball, they know that he's the best guy, but sometimes they just don't give him the ball that much. LaFleur will split it like 60-40. I had Jamal Williams, and he was a consistent option last year, just because they wouldn't make Aaron Jones the workhorse.
But I mean, he still put up numbers. I mean, despite that, I mean, he still put up RB like two or 3 numbers.
Yeah. The worry with him that people have is that like the offense will produce less, and then that role will become less valuable because he's not getting 20 touchdowns. Instead he's getting maybe 9 or 12. Who knows? But even then, like you said, that's a good running back too.
Yeah. So I love it, and dude, I don't want to harp on it too much, but Cooper Kupp, to me, he was so high on my draft board, dude. Insanely high on my draft board. I just want to hear, I already gave my thing about Cooper Kupp. What do you think about him?
I mean, he could lead the league in touchdowns if the Rams offense is good. They have a bad offensive line, so I worry about that. But Kupp's a great player. That's all I really have to say about it.
I'll take that.
When he's playing, he's great. When he's hurt, he's not as great. But he's crazy around the red zone. There's few receivers better at scoring touchdowns.
That went through my head too. I mean, anybody that's there's some wide receiver ones on their team, like a Allen Robinson or something like that. But there are a few that that despite what's going to happen, they're going to get eight catches a game at least because they're just so the quarterback trusts them so much. Like that was like Edelman last year or in years past for Brady. I just feel like Cooper Kupp is that guy for golf. Like he will, in when he's under pressure, he's just going to look for Kupp and just throw it up because he just trusts him so much at this point.
Edelman was a late value this year for sure.
Maybe. I'm a little skeptical.
A little skeptical. I'd say I'm a little skeptical too. But he was going in like the 9th round.
True. I mean, considering the spot, I mean it was good value at that spot, but I mean another year older, he's like 34 now, 33, 34, and he had led the league in drops. I mean, and a worse quarterback. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a great formula for success, but we'll see what happens. Another guy I want to talk about, AJ Green. What are your thoughts on AJ Green heading into the fantasy football season?
I mean, it's the same thing. If he's playing, he's a beast. But he gets hurt. It seems like he runs 4 routes, and on the 5th one, his hamstring or some shit like acts up, and then he's out. Like we haven't seen him play in years.
Yeah, I like AJ Green, but I think that I would have been higher on him if he was a few years younger. But he's like what 30, 31 now, and he's like 31. So I mean, these injuries are piling up. Plus, you look at the resurgence of Tyler Boyd. He's a little scary for me. He was somebody I didn't want to go with for sure. But anyway, so I guess as far as fantasy football goes, is that about it, or is there anything else you want to cover?
I mean, I think that's about it, dude. I think I'm gonna win the championship.
Same. Co-champs.
I got the McCaffrey edge, bro.
That is true, dude. I mean, that's like an automatic, like 20 at least. Like that's like a bad day. 20.
So the number 1 player in fantasy.
He's an animal. I mean, like I said, I would have taken number 1 if you didn't. So, but anyway, well, we got to talk about NBA playoffs now a little bit.
Yeah, so my team is the best in this league, and then the Heat are the best team in the NBA. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens against the C's because we're going to get past the Raptors. They can't hold their shot.
It's looking a little hairy right now. They're holding right now.
Well, you know how it goes. It's like the first game after a devastating loss. Like, you remember that Spurs game, the Spurs versus Heat, when Ray Allen hit the 3? Dude, that game 7, the Spurs had no chance. That series was over. Like, everyone knew it. It's like that. Like we needed that. Everyone knew that we were going to lose that game yesterday. But going forward, we'll bounce back. We got Brad Stevens. We're deep. We're more talented than the Raptors. We're better than the Raptors. I think we're going to take it down in 6.
Book it.
And for your Heat, what do you think the ceiling is for this Heat team in the playoffs?
I mean, it sounds crazy, but when they're shooting well, no, it's hard to stop them. When they're shooting well, if they're shooting well, I think their ceiling is winning the fucking championship.
Damn, dude.
It shouldn't happen, but it's possible. If they're shooting the way they can shoot sometimes, then no one's beating them because they make too many plays on defense, dude. Like,
yeah,
you got Jimmy Butler, you got Bam, you got Andre Iguodala, who's always good for a couple plays in a game. You got Goran Dragic, who's been playing like the best ball of his career. Like, they're a hard team to stop right now.
Yeah, I mean, no, they're playing great. But I will say, if they can get a superstar to pair with that lineup, they're going to be the best team in the league, probably.
Yeah, that's the thought right now for sure. That's what Pat Riley's going for. And this brings up kind of a controversial discussion about Giannis.
He's a choke artist, dude.
Because that's the conversation. And should the Heat bring in Giannis? Is Jimmy Butler the one who could, get him over the hump? You know what I mean? And maybe into the NBA Finals, because Giannis just is not a closer. In fact, he's one of the worst closers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's like LeBron and Giannis, like right there together.
Like, he was 0 of 7 from 3. He had a great game today before he got hurt, but He had like 19 points in 11 minutes or something crazy. He was going off. But the thing is, the only time he goes off is when he can run on fast breaks.
That's the only time he can score, dude.
He can do one thing. He has one post move, and every player on the Heat drilled it over and over and over again. And you have 4 dudes that can guard Giannis. Jimmy, Bam, Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder. All have guarded Giannis well at some point.
Are you a little bit worried about a reverse here? A reverse sweep?
No.
Not at all worried.
No, I think they could push us to 7, but I don't think the Heat are going to lose 4 games in a row.
Yeah, that would be kind of
too
tough.
close. Think about how close this game was. We lost by a point. Or no, they made 2 free throws at the end, but we were down a point when the game really ended.
That's true.
Tyler Hero made 2 big threes.
What was the Heat's record against the Bucks in the regular season? Didn't you guys win all your games against them, or am I wrong about that?
I think it was 2-1.
2-1. So yeah, you guys should be good then, I would think. But when the Bucks are making shots, like when you have Brook Lopez making shots, when you have Chris Middleton making shots.
That guy. I hate Brook Lopez.
He's a goof, dude.
He's a fucking pest, dude. You can't fucking contest him, and if you try, he like kicks out so that you foul him, and then he's also just wet from 3, dude.
He's wet, dude.
He is. And he's wet from 3.
He's wet.
Chris Middleton has looked like Kevin Durant at times in this series.
Middleton's really good.
But keep in mind, go back in the GasCast. We have been Chris Middleton supporters for a long time.
That's true. He's a beast. Like for a super, like a star number 2 on a team, he's like top of the line. I mean,
the problem with him is he just goes so cold sometimes. Like when he's off, dude, he is like very off for like long periods of time.
That's true. It's like Jaylen Brown.
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Or like Kimba. Kimba's number 1 on that list, dude. Kimba like is finally playing good basketball, but there was a stretch in the first round where he had like 3 games where he had like 8 points.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler had like 4 points today. Like he makes plays in so many other ways, but like 4 points, that's so little. And I think it was 2 dunks.
Did you have you watched Tatum at all recently in the last like month or so?
Oh, of course.
Dude, he's gonna be like the best player in the league.
He's taken a step up for sure, dude. Like he's very good.
He's gonna be like top 3 in the league like next year.
Yeah, I don't think he's better than Luka, but top 3 for sure.
LeBron will probably. I could see LeBron like his assessment where people assess him. I could see him going down to like number 6 going into next season.
I think so too. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, he's 30. He's 38 or something, right? 37 going on 38.
He's like 35, I think.
Seriously?
Maybe seriously.
I wonder who I'm thinking of, dude.
Vince Carter.
Vince Carter's like 40, isn't
he? Yeah, he's old as hell. I'm glad he finally retired.
Yeah, LeBron's 35. Shoot, man. So going into his age 36 season, he's just become a great passer, and that's just not as flashy as some of the dominant scorers we see in the league.
Well, you need to be. I feel like you have to be a great scorer to be a great player and to be a winning player in the league.
And he is a great scorer. Don't get me wrong, but the way he puts up his points sometimes isn't conducive to winning big in the NBA right now. And that's not to say LeBron's not one of the best players in the league and one of the best players of all time, but it's just being honest, you know.
Yeah, and
I think the Lakers' fatal flaw, the reason they won't win, is they rely on the number 3 guy way too much. AD and LeBron both pass off very, very often. Much more than someone like James Harden. Much more than, I can't even think of who else. Probably Tatum. I haven't watched a lot of them. Even, I don't know. I mean, they just don't seem... They're a pairing that just seems to rely way too much on Danny Green. You know what I mean? Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma at times.
As far as players that are, you know, like top 5 players in the league, I don't think people can argue LeBron passes more than anybody in NBA history. For a guy of that caliber to pass that much has honestly become a detriment to his team, in my opinion. Like, there was a time where he would mix it up. Like, you know, we talk about the 2013 LeBron. That was a great mix where he was getting like 6 or 7 assists, but he was getting like 41 points. I would much rather have that than 22 points and 15 assists.
And he was also like 290 pounds. Like he was like a specimen, just running like LeBron running down the lane was like Giannis running down the lane right now. Like
True.
even more so. You just like now you put a wall in front of Giannis. You couldn't really do that with LeBron. His explosiveness was just like insane that year.
And dude, just imagine LeBron's like a tight end or receiver, dude. He'd be like unstoppable.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like crazy, dude. Even what about a quarterback? Dude, you see him passing the ball so well. It might be a the biggest quarterback in the history of the league, like 6'8", 280 pounds.
So who do you think's gonna win the finals?
I think it's gonna be Clippers and Celtics in the finals.
The Celtics could pull that out, dude.
It'd be a tough series, but I think that the Clippers would take it home, unfortunately.
I'd say Clippers in 6, but I'd say the Celtics have a chance in that series.
I'm going to say Clippers in 6 or 7. Just depends on how. I think it depends on how the series starts. If the Celtics come out and like destroy the Clippers game 1, I think it'll go 7. But even if it's like a good game, I feel like the Clippers are going to take it in 6. So we'll see what happens, but I'm hyped, dude. The playoffs, like to be honest, they've been like boring as shit. Like with no fans,
gameplay, the gameplay has been really boring, dude. Like the refs have been intervening so much.
I know, dude. It's killing me. It's even worse this is the worst year I've seen it.
Same here, for sure.
Like they usually let them I wouldn't say that it's, back in the 90s when playoffs come around, but I would say that when playoffs come around, the refs start making calls around the 2005 era, at least.
Because they used to let them play a little more, man. Now, like any contact when you jump up to the rim is a foul.
Yeah,
like,
and
that's just not cool, dude.
And
the amount of offensive fouls and blocking fouls, it just slows the game down so much.
Yeah, and now players are incentivized to flop because they get so many calls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marcus Smart flops like 4 times a game, like visibly flop. Like he just got fined like $30,000 for flopping like 2 days ago. Like a guy was like backing him down in the lane or in the paint, and he just like jumped backwards, like visibly, like there was no contact. Like before he was even backing into him, he was like jumping backwards.
That's Marcus Smart, dude.
Yeah, I love him, dude. He made 5 threes in the fourth last week? 5 in a row. He made 5 threes in a row in the fourth quarter.
Dang, he's like Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, well, maybe a little better, but dude, Marcus Smart is crazy good, dude. Like insanely good. My argument, dude, trade Kimba. Get like a pick or like another role player, put Marcus Smart at the 1 because he's an insanely good passer, like way underrated passer. Like he can run our offense so well and so efficiently.
Do you think Kemba is a problem?
I don't think he's a problem. I just think that we could be like he'd provide us like with more bench depth, and also our team doesn't fall off literally at all when Marcus Smart's at the 1 and Kimba's not playing. So you get an opportunity to take $190 million off your cap or whatever, $125 million or whatever it is. I'd take that any day of the week. We're about to have to pay Tatum too next year. So
I hear you, man. I hear you. He's gonna get someone this offseason and be a championship contender for sure.
Drummond.
The fact that they're competing right now is insane.
Drummond.
Hassan Whiteside 2.0.
Yes. I feel like I could see the Heat making like a signing that you would not be happy with.
I just hope they don't trade Hero for no reason, dude. Because I don't want that. To me, he's untradeable, dude.
Well,
I'm not trading Tyler Hero.
Untradeable? I mean, I don't know about all that. I mean,
dude, for what people would offer for him, I wouldn't give him up for it. Realistically, what people would offer for him.
But if he was a package deal for theoretically, if he was a package deal for someone like Jamal Murray.
Yeah, Jamal Murray, sure. Victor Oladipo, no.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But I was just making, obviously Jamal Murray's not going anywhere, but just hypothetical.
I wouldn't even want Joel Embiid if Hero was included.
I wouldn't either.
because Hero shoots threes.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's all about pace and space. Like that's literally how you win games in the NBA now. Pace, space, and D. Like screw driving the ball. Like screw like having a good center. It doesn't even matter at this point.
Having a good center doesn't matter. Having a great ISO player does matter. If you don't have one great ISO player on your team, then you're fucked. Because that's how you create shots nowadays.
And
there's fucking players like PJ Tucker and Brooke Lopez making a living off shooting from the corner right now. And Danny Green making millions of dollars just to sit there and catch it when their ISO player passes it to him.
Well, that's the problem with the Pacers. They've had like 10 or 11 like very like above average top 15%, top 20% players in the league. They have like 11 of them. They don't have any like top 10 players in the league. They have all these really good players, but no great players. So that's been their problem. I mean, they need to package some of these people up and get somebody good.
Yeah, but if they had Sabonis, I think it would have. I mean, we wouldn't have swept them if they had Sabonis.
Sabonis is good, dude. He's like a mini Jokic.
Yeah, I'd say Jokic is a hell of a lot better.
But Sabonis is a little different. So Sabonis is probably a little bit better rebounder. He's like better perimeter defender, and he's a lot faster. But Sabonis is definitely Sabonis is not as good of a passer, obviously, but he's still a good passer. Like he can run an offense.
I saw something that said Jokic plays like he's wearing sandals, or like flip flops.
Yeah, dude, he's like it's like his signature move, dude. He catches a rebound and just brings it back and looks for like an outlet.
Launches it.
Yeah, and just launches that shit, dude. He's a beast, though. But
he can see over everybody.
Yeah,
it's huge.
So, we got to talk before we close out here. I think we're good on the NBA. I mean, we've covered pretty much everything. Little bit about the NFL. Who's the big guys for you going into the season as far as teams? Like, who's going to be the best teams? What about the Dolphins? What do you think about the Dolphins?
CJ, I'll tell you something first that's been it's been on my mind.
All right.
I think the Dolphins are going to be horrible.
Really?
I've been coming to terms with it, in the past couple of days. I think the team will be better than last year, but I think our record has a chance to be worse. Like, I think we could easily go 4-12.
Is your schedule harder?
We play the NFC West. NFC West, and let me make sure I get the other one right. Here. NFC West and AFC West. So we've got to play the Chiefs. We've got to play the Niners. We've got to play the Seahawks. We've got to play the Cardinals.
Oh, hell.
Like, all these teams that are just going to smoke us. Like,
dude, Kyler is going to shred the Dolphins, dude.
Yeah, and then Bills, and Mahomes, dude. Like, what the fuck? I just don't think our offense will be able to keep up, man. And I think our defense will be good, but not good enough to be like that. If they go, I think the ceiling is 9-7, but there's a chance they go 4-12.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, your defense has made huge strides in the offseason, but offensively, a lot of question marks. I mean, like, at basically every position, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because Devontae Parker is like the surest thing on the offense, and even he is like, he had years of his career where he sucked, like 5 years, and really 4, because 1 year he had like 900 yards, and then Fitzpatrick, could be good, could be the worst fucking quarterback in the league. You don't know.
Yeah, you never know. And your running back, I mean, they should be solid, but they're not going to kill. I mean, they're not going to shred a team. They have like two solid running backs.
Offensive line, dude. If the offensive line is good and we can run a little bit, then we'll be much better off for sure.
Yeah. So is Tua is he just sitting out the entire season?
Nah, Tua's extremely healthy. Like, he's apparently back to what he was before, like very mobile. That's why they released Josh Rosen.
That's a big loss, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid, especially with the COVID season. Like, I didn't see the point in releasing him. They do this shit where they just value random DBs so much to the point where they release Josh Rosen, who's like a really good arm, the best arm on the team, not a good processor, but he's a body, who knows the offense. You could keep him around as a third quarterback, or you can have a guy you're going to waive in 3 weeks. Some random cornerback from Georgia Southern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I don't like that. That's just not how I would manage the roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we traded for Lynn Bowden from
I don't
Kentucky.
even know who that is.
Dude, he's good.
Is he a quarterback?
He was a quarterback, but he's also like a receiver, running back. Like, he's a weapon.
Oh, the weapons are never good, dude. The weapons.
What about Antonio Gibson?
I'll be honest. I don't know anything about Antonio Gibson, dude. Like, I
That's
don't know
so
anything.
surprising, dude.
Like, I know like of him and like his college, but as far as what I'm projecting him to be, I have no idea. I mean, he could. Well, you have to think. I'm obviously a fan of the Redskins. Our running back projections have been maybe the worst in the league in the last like 10 years. Like, every running back we've drafted has been ass. So I don't know what to expect. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be ass like the rest of them, but we can always hope for a miracle. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he's definitely going to be getting, I would think, some pretty good work. But I think Peyton Barber is probably going to be RB1 if I had to guess. Is that funny to you, Peyton Barber?
I mean, I think you're right. Honestly, like, I think because of Ron Rivera, Peyton Barber was out there first and second down. But people are thinking since AP got released, that means Gibson's going up. To me, I agree with you. I think that means Peyton Barber's going up too, and they're going to split reps.
And they say Bryce Love looks pretty good, but I can't trust him at all. I mean, I don't know what.
I don't think he's going to get any touches.
I don't either, but it's possible. I mean, There's a world out there where he's like Chris Thompson has been for us.
Dude, you know, every season, almost every team has some random guy that just gets hyped up like that. You know what I mean? It happens every year, and every time they just don't do shit. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be.
Yeah.
I can think of few situations where the equivalent of Bryce Love became like insane. Austin Ekeler would be the only one where you're just not expecting that, really.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, but and that's another thing with Ekeler. I was thinking like he's a guy that doesn't get injured. I don't have to worry about like an injury risk with him, and he's still a relatively young back. I mean, he's like 25. I mean, you would think he's like super old. I mean, he's like 25. So
you're just back to hyping up your team.
Well, no, but I just want to say like the floor is very, like, he has a very high floor. Like, maybe the highest floor for those like quote unquote risky backs. Like, he's at least going to give me 12 or 13 a game for sure. Like, I'm not worried about that at least. Like, I don't think he'll ever drop like a 3 bomb or anything.
With McCaffrey, I'm thinking like 30 points, 25 plus.
That's clear.
Man, last year with Nick Chubb, I was the same way. I was like, if I can get 14, I got a chance. Like,
exactly. I almost drafted Nick Chubb, but I was like, Kareem Hunt scared me. It scared me big time.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want him this year.
I didn't either.
And he fucking led the league in rushing or something like last year.
Yeah,
like, he was insanely good. Just not a lot of touchdowns.
So, but yeah,
if we're good, dude. I mean, are we good to start wrapping up, or do you want to make any predictions? Yeah,
I just I want to make like a few predictions and then talk about my Redskins. Then I think we could probably wrap it up. Dwayne Haskins, dude, they're saying that he's been impressive in camp. He's the clear QB1, dude, heading in, and they're saying he's like, and they're saying
Allen.
Yeah, and they're saying he's legit, dude. They're saying he's got a chance. Bless you.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, they're saying that he's going to look pretty good this year, dude. That's what all the indications are.
You should pick him up in fantasy.
Well, I don't know how it'll translate.
I'm worried about the offensive line, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like Haskins gonna get killed back there.
He will. He will.
When he runs around, he's like an antelope or something, like one that's been like hurt, like hurt its ankle or something.
Well, it's neat. You're gonna be happy to hear that his number one thing that he's improved on in camp is his mobility in the pocket.
That's
like
great, dude. Necessary.
like stepping up. Instead, he used to roll out constantly. Instead of stepping up, he would like roll left for like.
Last year, it seemed like he thought he was like Russell Wilson or something.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
way he would ditch the pocket.
Yeah,
He
he'd
thought
like
he was like
bounce out,
Patton.
like roll out of the pocket.
Remember that game he got rocked going to the end zone?
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
running in for a touchdown and got destroyed.
I thought he was dead, dude. I thought he was straight dead. But the last thing I want to talk about, that's about it for the Redskins. I could see us going anywhere from 4-8 to 9-7, somewhere in between there.
You think they could go 9-7?
I think if the defense was turned out to be really good and Haskins put out 23 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. With the talent on our defensive side of the ball, and who knows, dude? I can't really trust the Cowboys and Eagles or the Giants to put together great seasons. So I think whenever you're in the NFC East right now, I think that you got a chance.
Yep, it's a compelling case for the Redskins. Or wait, shit, Washington football team. My bad. Great chance for Washington.
Yeah, well, it's going to take me about 2 or 3 years to stop saying Redskins. So
we can't upload this episode anymore. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Fuck them. I'll edit that out. Not really. So
no editing on the GasCast.
Yeah, we don't edit. That's for those YouTubers, those loser YouTubers. So last thing, what are your projections on Tom Brady and Buccaneers? Like every single YouTuber. They edit. We don't. We're the only ones. We keep it raw. Unedited, straight to the point. Because we don't make mistakes.
It's insane that people are saying that the Buccaneers could win the Super Bowl. I'll put it out there. I think it's insane.
I'm surprised.
But I think they could be good. I think they could win the division. I don't think they could win the NFC.
I could see a 10-6 year from the Bucs.
Yeah, I could too. But people are talking about it like they're the People have said they're the Warriors, like 2017.
Yeah,
Warriors.
That's not true. That's not true.
I'm like, what? Like they don't have that good of a chance. They have as good of a chance as, I don't know. I guess the Saints. I'd put them around there. Like, I still would take the Saints over the Bucs, but at the championship, I'd say, or Super Bowl, I think they have about an equal chance.
It's funny though that this just shows even if people hate on Tom Brady, subconsciously they can't deny his greatness, because really the only huge piece they added in the offseason was Brady, and all of a sudden now they're the super team. I mean, I'm not going to throw Fournette in there as what put him over the edge. Fournette is ass, if you ask me. I don't like Fournette at all. So I don't think that piece really changed anything besides adding, running back depth to an already shitty running back room. I mean, just to keep it real. But I think Brady's got a chance to be good this year, and I think the Bucs will go 10-6.
Word. That's such a weird topic to close the episode out on. It's like the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, we just haven't talked. We haven't even been on the GasCast since Brady joined the Bucs. So, I mean, you got to think about that.
There's probably so much stuff that just doesn't matter to me at this point. But
what do you think Brady's line is going to be this year?
I think he could easily throw 35 touchdowns, but I'd put him down at maybe like 28. 28 and like not a lot of interceptions, maybe like 7.
7, okay. I'm thinking
the thing is Arians throws the ball so much that I think it's more likely he throws, some like 4,500 yards, like 30 plus touchdowns. But if I had to predict just based on what I saw last year, I can't say that, because I mean Winston threw 30 something, but they could just as easily, with a better defense, only produce 28 passing touchdowns.
I'm gonna say 29-5. That's what I'm thinking. That's
pretty similar.
That's what pretty similar. But so you got any closing thoughts?
Not really, man. Gonna be uploading every week.
Yeah, every day. Daily uploads. Daily GasCast
GasCast.
uploads.
Class starts tomorrow, so that sucks.
Do you have any thoughts on the election? No, I'm kidding.
What election?
This is our chance, everyone. BLM, baby, forever. I had to throw that in there.
Okay, man. Okay.
So anyway, all right. Well, everybody, it's been great. GasCast is officially back. You can start the parades in the streets. I'm
I'm gonna win the league, man.
I'm getting
Siege
a call.
dropped the take. Siege dropped the take that Pinelli's the worst team in the league this year.
It's just my opinion, dude. I mean, I'm obviously could be wrong. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a fantasy genius, although it could be argued. I do all my damage in the waiver wire. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I'm the greatest waiver wire player in the history of fantasy football because I scout the fantasy wire so deep.
Go out on a whim.
So deep, dude. Like I make weekly moves in the waiver wire, and I always end up having one or two guys in my starting lineup that are top 10 at their position that are just random guys because I was like scouting.
Sometimes you go too crazy on the waiver wire, though.
It's true.
It's possible. You can do too much.
It is possible I can do too much, but the results speak for themselves. So.
Yeah, one place behind me, your boy.
Yeah. Well, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, another top 3 finish, another bag secured. But all right. Well, anyway, we've gone on too much. So everybody out there, GasCast returning. We're back. Episodes coming in the near future, and as always, stay gassing.